because I went out last night, which is rare.
Congratulations.
And I wanted a pina colada. I had a hankering for a banana. And they had a virgin colada, a tequila colada, which was pina colada with tequila. I was like, nope. So I was like, can you make me just a pina colada? No, nope.
What's the difference between a pina colada? What's the alcohol in a pina colada? Rum.
Yeah. I
thought you don't drink anymore. You're just feeling nostalgic.
Yeah, I think because I was out with a friend, so I wanted to keep him company, I guess.
Yeah, socially.
Yeah, so I had the virgin colada, which was nice. But I'm regretting it. I think my stomach does not like juice. I'm not used to drinking pineapple juice and all this stuff.
I did not see any evidence of pineapple juice this morning.
This was also part of the test, and but it didn't come, so we didn't.
I wonder how much pineapple juice do you need to drink, though, for it to be...
I don't think it's a lot. I don't know how long it lasts for either.
It's convenient because I'm actually allergic to pineapple.
Would you be allergic to pineapple?
No. Because I'm not that allergic to pineapple.
Okay.
This podcast contains frank discussions about sex, kink, and BDSM. If you're a consenting adult who wants to learn more about these topics, then stay tuned.
You're listening to Chief from kinkyevents.co.uk, helping you create the dom-sub dynamic you've always fantasized about.
We are back with another episode of Conversations with a Dom. Last week, we asked readers to submit their questions, and we got through 18 of them. There's still about 60 in total. We'll start again from number 19, but we'll have to do them a lot quicker. So this week, if there's ones that we've already answered, we will say, refer to episode 52.
We won't say that every time.
We won't, because we haven't done 52 episodes, but we'll say, go and listen to this podcast, or we think we've mentioned it.
You're unoriginal. Move on.
Yes. No, well, people haven't obviously consumed all of my content. They're not true fans. If you were a true fan, you would have all of your questions answered. But yes,
don't shade the listeners right off the bat.
It's different audiences. You have people who listen to the podcast. You have people who don't know anything about the podcast, never listen to it, just read the articles. So all sorts. But before that, you have a book called, what is it called? Men and Women.
Man and Woman by Marshall Cavendish. Volume 1 from the 70s. It's an encyclopedia. A lot of it is from the Kinsey Institute and various articles about sex, gender, attraction, etc., etc.
It's not like a cosmopolitan from the 70s. It's more research based. I think
it's research based, and there's
PhD
different case studies and curious things, sex and society, the history of sex, the physiology of sex, lots of interesting photos and diagrams. I found an article in here, The Physiology of Sex, Sexual Capacity. Now, do bear in mind that this is coming from the 70s. So obviously research and attitudes around sex and biology and everything have changed. Science has been updated. So take this with a heavy dose of salt. In this article, they were measuring, or they were looking at sexual capacity as people age, men and women. And Kinsey did a survey and found that for men, on average, between adolescence and the age of 30, men experience roughly 3 orgasms a week, with the rate gradually decreasing with age. But then for women that are married, and this is very telling of the fact that this was written in the 70s. Kinsey found that a married woman has on average about 3.5 orgasms a week between the ages of 16 and 20. This drops to about 2.5 orgasms a week at 30 years and to 1 orgasm a week at 60 years. Unmarried women, who are less likely to have continuing opportunities for intercourse and tend to masturbate less than men, reach orgasm on average between once and twice a week. The maximum, of course, is far higher. Kinsey interviewed women who experienced 29 orgasms a week between the ages of 20 and 40, and women of 50 who reach orgasm 18 times in a week.
Hang on. So this is saying that women who are married orgasm more than single women. Okay, 2.5 times a week compared to 3 a week.
Yeah.
But only until age 20, whereas men go up to age 30.
Yeah, and then it drops down to 2.5 by
How
the
many
age
times
30.
do I orgasm a week? Once.
Actually,
Twice.
sexual
I don't know.
capacity in the male reaches a peak during adolescence and thereafter declines very gradually into old age. The
Well, we
initial
talked
drop
about this. We talked
is the
about this last
steepest,
time,
and
didn't we?
after the 20s, the changes are much slower. At the age of 50, which you're not there yet, the average number of orgasms experienced during 1 week is only just under 2.
I'm already below average.
As the-
I don't masturbate as much. Hardly ever now. Maybe
Yeah.
once a month. Used to be like twice, 3 times a day. Yeah. Not
There you
turned
go.
on anymore.
You're getting old.
I've done it all.
You've
Nothing
lived your
to live
life.
for.
Great. Fun. Now shall we get into the questions?
Right, the questions. All right. Question 19. Back to reader questions.
Do we need to like number the questions every time?
No, we don't.
Okay.
It's more for my own memory, so I don't forget. where we
Okay,
are.
that's fair.
Okay, this is a long one. So I'll try and read it quickly.
I'll listen.
My wife and I have done some bondage for years, but only recently started exploring a DS type of relationship. We do not want a 24-hour commitment. We want to try doing a few days of full commitment and only do it once every couple of months. My concern is I don't think I truly know how to perform as a dom on a longer time frame, and my wife feels like it is too often. If it is too often, it would feel more like a job, and she would not enjoy it. We're both excited about exploring this, and we will reevaluate after a couple of times and decide, do we want to do it more often or not? We will still be incorporating BDSM into our sex life pretty often, as we really do enjoy bondage and spanking and other activities. What are your thoughts on doing it so sporadically, and how would you recommend making this work? From Chad and Scarlett. We don't know, because we've not done a full day really. It's always a background thing.
I think it would be difficult to make it work.
I think if you're on holiday or a change of scene, or you
Yes.
go away like to a hotel and you
Yes.
do it, I think that would help.
Get yourself out of the normal
but doing it at home,
environment.
and it's challenging.
Yeah.
We're not 24. We are, but we're not. I wouldn't say we're traditional 24/7.
No.
We just have it as a background thing because it's free use. So if I want, because there's a free use theme in the background, in theory, it could be classed as 24/7 because I'm allowed to take you whenever I want.
But we're
it's
not
also
acting
not.
within our roles
Yeah,
during
we're not
that
like
time.
we're not. I'm not doming you the whole time.
No. Although, like, it will come over in, if you ask me to do something, it can, sometimes you do it in a more direct way than you would otherwise. And I think that's playing into the DS thing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't backtalk, or I wouldn't try to argue on the point. I just go and do
Like
it.
normal. Yeah, we do it low key, so we can't really answer that except to say, yeah, it's absolutely fine to do it sporadically. Do whatever. That's what we're about. Make it work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure we've answered that very well.
No.
I think even people who do DS 24/7, it's not like the dom is constantly giving the sub instructions,
Some are.
and it's not like.
In mass situations.
But is it really? Are they really just kneeling for the whole day, and the dom goes out to the shops or whatever, and then they come back and the sub still's there?
From some subs that have their entire day scheduled out.
Yeah, but it's scheduled, but it's not like the dom is there for all of it. Like I could write you a list of you're going to make me breakfast, and then at 1:00 I want you lunch, but you've got freedom within that to plan everything and do it. So would that count as 24/7? Because or is that just being a housewife?
Yeah, but get it out of the housewife sort of idea. And I've read from subs who they are in a more serious MS style relationship, and they may be naked for the whole day, and then they have to go and edge themselves multiple times a day. And it is way more
But what's the
involved.
dom actually doing? The dom's just written something and then left them to it.
But the dom might be checking in. The
Checking
dom is having to stay in that dom mindset too, to make sure that the sub is doing what they have to do.
Yeah, I don't want all that work.
That's
Too much
why we
effort.
don't do that
That's why we
style
don't
of
effort.
relationship.
And if you want to do that, yeah, that might be an idea. Write them a schedule for the day.
Yeah.
That
A
can
little
help plan it out a bit
to-do
more.
list.
Yeah. All right. I noticed when I was editing the last one of these that I answered most of the questions first, and I felt bad. So this time I'm going to let you answer most of the questions first. And
Okay.
give your opinion,
Okay.
because I know listeners will be thinking that, because I was thinking that as I was editing it. Someone also said a while back that I talked over you a bit too much. So for the last few episodes, I've been trying not to. I know I still do it.
I talk over you all the time.
I know. I think I do it more to you. So
I don't think that's true.
I think it's true.
I try to be very conscious about not speaking over you during the podcast because I do have a tendency to interrupt you. And this is something just in day-to-day life. So I try to be more respectful of your opinions, your voice in the podcast because I value what you have to say. I consider this like a learning opportunity for me to know, what does Chief really think about this? I'd like to hear your opinions. I value them.
I think in everyday life, you interrupt me, yes.
But which is why I make it a specific effort on the podcast
yeah, but
to
on the
not.
podcast, it's the opposite. I interrupt you, so I'm going to stop doing that. Yeah. All right. How do I find a good dom? And how do I know if it's right for me? I've taken tests, and I'm mostly a little. I've looked at what a pleasure dom is, a gentle dom, and a daddy dom, but I don't know which is right for me. We've covered this so many times.
I was just thinking, I don't know that maybe you shouldn't approach in the way of trying to find a specific dom in that subsection of the category of doms that you're looking for. Maybe just trying to find someone that you're attracted to and then let your relationship evolve over time and experiment with that, because it sounds like you maybe don't have experience being with a dom before. So why don't you just go out there and meet people and see what it evolves into? I don't think you have to go specifically looking for a pleasure-carrying dom over someone else.
Yeah, we've covered this, so I'm not gonna answer it. We also covered it on the last podcast. Could you talk a little bit about DS and mental health? There are times that my sub and I have things going on in our life that gets in the way for weeks at a time and can only do superficial DS mini rituals as reminders of our dynamic. How have you both navigated not doing as many DS things and the toll it can take on mental health?
Yeah.
P.S. This is lovely. Thank you for creating a space where I don't feel like I'm completely opposite from the standard dom stereotype one finds online.
Aww.
From Phoenix.
Oh, thank you.
For that.
Yeah. Mental health it's a challenge. What was the question?
I think specifically they're saying if life gets in the way and they don't have time to do these mini rituals, they're finding that takes a toll on its mental health.
It does.
Yeah, relax. Don't worry about it.
No one, but if they are worrying about it, I think you just have to give yourself some grace. We can't always have it all together, especially if you have mental health challenges as well. There's ebbs and flows, as I've said. I think there are things that you can do to try to get yourself feeling in a rhythm, or to reward yourself a little bit when you do things that you enjoy. Star charts, actually, but don't underestimate the power of sunshine, photosynthesize. I don't know, and it doesn't all have to be about the goal. It can be about the journey, and enjoy the breaks in the journey, but don't beat yourself up about them. I don't know. Mental health sucks.
Yeah.
Mental illness sucks. Mental health.
We've definitely done a podcast on this, and it's called The Slump. So if you search for The Slump,
it's in the
title.
Called?
I think it's in the title, like We're in a Slump or something.
Yeah.
It was one of the maybe like around episode 20. So scroll back through the list. And by the way, if you are not a please subscribe to this podcast. I'm going to beg.
Are you?
It's psychology, isn't it? If I tell people to subscribe, then a few percentage of those. So please.
It makes a difference.
I've got a cat and he eats a lot and he needs his high quality food. You can hear him meowing in the background sometimes, and that's because he's desperately hungry. And
he doesn't get fed.
His four meals a day are not enough, and he wants another 2. So
the only way you can afford that.
Please follow and subscribe to keep the kitty fed.
That's terrible.
He's fine. He's asleep over there. But no, please do follow us. We want to get sexual information, even though it's probably incorrect, like what we say. we want to still normalize talking about it. If you like it, then Spotify may show it to other people who also need this help. There we go. That's my plug. It doesn't have to be on Spotify. It can be any good podcast.
Please support us. Please follow us.
Yeah.
And Chief begs.
Yes, I do have products. I didn't even plug the products, but you can go on my website, kinkevents.co.uk, and buy the products. But there we go. All right, next question. I like this one. This is probably one of my favourite questions on here, only because it's hot. My delicious sub is bisexual. I've encouraged her to explore this side of her sexuality. With a woman, she is dominant, but she has most definitely honoured me with the gift of her submission. She has recently found a pillow princess who has submitted to her. How, as her dom, should I encourage and nurture her? My sub enjoys my presence when she plays with her sub. Her sub calls me master, and my sub is her queen. I would be very interested to hear your thoughts on how I can encourage the dynamic. This is from DSM.
I assume then that everyone's consenting, happy to have your input. Then it sounds like from sub number, or is it like subset sub?
Grand sub?
It would have been like sub, in maths, like a sub. But that would be the other way around, wouldn't it?
No, you have a grandchild. You got your child.
Yeah, but grand, I think up. I don't think down. But yeah,
if you're the dom, then you got your sub, and then your sub, your grand sub.
Your sub.
Yeah.
Subling.
This guy's hit the jackpot. Let's be honest. That's what a lot of guys are thinking.
Is it actually a real prompt? Or a real...
I actually wrote this one.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Someone actually said this. Let's see. No, yeah, I couldn't work out in the question who was the her. So, for example, it says, how as her dom should I encourage and nurture her? So I think he's talking about encouraging his
initial sub to then
to help
the dom of the other sub.
Yeah, and which I assume she wants to be. I read it as his partner is bisexual. She's not really experienced with women and is a bit timid about it, but wants to. And so by him domming her to do it, she gets to experience that. And it's a plausible deniability.
I didn't read anything about timidity in that question.
No, that's the
fantasy that you enjoyed the thought of.
You are similar. You're pansexual, but you wouldn't do anything with a woman unless it would be hot if I told you to. Because it would have to be something. Doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know what I'm doing. It would have to be something that grows over time. I'm so inexperienced and have stuff in my head about playing with women. It would. Yeah, there are challenges there, far more so than playing with men.
Yeah, but you're not bisexual. Wait, not well.
I'm but mostly I'm pansexual, but I'm attracted to dominance and masculinity, even if that masculinity is within woman. But it's a power, it's a presence. I'm attracted to a presence. Like I will say, oh my goodness, I was watching Wheel of Time last night. And Moineau in Wheel of Time is so incredibly attractive. She's so attractive. And every time I watch that show, I'm just like, wow, if there were a woman, and I don't even mean the actress as such, but if there were a woman that I would willingly sub for, it would be her. What a powerful woman. And that whole show is very queer, very sexually driven anyway.
So your ideal threesome would be with Boudica. Cleopatra and Boudica.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't go so far as Boudica, perhaps.
You would be the grand sub. You would be the sub.
Yeah, I would be the sub.
You couldn't be the sub in that situation because
I'd have to be under the direction of a dom.
Yeah.
To do anything dominant with the other person.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to the question, how would you encourage her?
More orgasms. Your sub needs more orgasms. She needs more attention. You should be lavishing praise onto her. Give her all the, I don't know, I was going to say
praise that she's doing the right thing with the other person?
Yeah, she needs more orgasms. That's how you should encourage her.
What, so she...
Orgasms for subs.
So when she doms this other sub, she gets an orgasm?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
so like it's a reward for.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It sounds like you guys are already in a great situation. So more orgasms.
So
I am fully on your sub side. Whatever you're doing, you should be doing more of.
Yeah, encourage the dynamic, however way you'd encourage your partner normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. All right, next question. My personality is caring after my woman. This is my first ever DS relationship, but my girlfriend has had plenty in the past. How do I incorporate being a caring person and being a dom without sacrificing my way of loving my woman? I hope this makes sense. That's very kind. I think I'm going to let you answer it.
If you're worried about maybe, it sounds like you might be worried that your dominance would detract from your love and care of your partner. If that's the case, then, but it sounds like you guys are both into it anyway. Maybe if you're worried that you're going to get caught in your head and that you're not going to respect your partner or something, maybe you can adopt an attitude of thankfulness, or thank her for her submission at the end of the scene or something, or when you're cuddling. Aftercare, make sure that you're practicing aftercare, and yeah.
I think for this one, she needs to do the work. She is the more experienced one. She needs to be saying to you, she has to remind you, I really do like submissive.
Positive reinforcement.
Because you've probably got in your head, like I sometimes do, why would a woman like this? I've been taught to be, everyone should be equal. This goes against everything I've been taught, being in charge and telling someone what to do. So she needs to encourage you. I think that's what I'd say.
Make sure that you guys are having feedback sessions, that you're talking after you do stuff. Talk. Yeah. Encourage each other. Love each other.
Yeah. And you can be caring and a dom at the same time. Next up, I'm really interested in how a DS relationship matures with time. While I wish to respect your privacy, I would love to know how things have changed for you guys a couple of years on. Can the same things and the same dynamics still be fun? Or is there a need to change things, to keep changing things?
Yes, it could still be fun. Yes, it does change. Yes, there can be a need to change things. A few years on from when we started, I'd say it's a bit tricky though, because our relationship really kicked off and coincided with the pandemic. And so it's always been a weird thing. Like, we had so much of our initial relationship be remote, and with the drama that the pandemic brought and not being able to see each other very often and having to do a lot more scenes and a lot more play and things to keep ourselves entertained and sane while handling the pandemic. So we did, at the beginning, Chief was working on his book that I helped to edit, and then we filmed the entire Sinful Shibari video course during lockdown on our weekends when we were in the same bubble and when we could see each other. And so as a result of the pandemic muting everything else going on in society, it meant that we were incredibly more involved in our DS relationship as an outlet, as something to keep ourselves going and for entertainment purposes, but also to explore each other. And because there was nothing else to do. There was literally nothing else to do. So a few years on from that, it has mellowed out. And we've both had periods of worse mental health or better mental health that we've had to take care of each other just at a standard relationship level. And then there are times when we get a little bit more excited. But I do think that I've noticed that sometimes we just need to, I don't know, something shifts in the energy. And I don't know what it is, but it means that we're a little bit more excited. Maybe we'll bring out the toys, we'll play a little bit more. We act a little bit more sexy towards each other. And I don't know what that is. Is it a chemical thing, or is it like just something in the air? What do you think?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of things, isn't it? Like the better weather, or if I'm feeling better about myself because I've been to the gym, or I don't know what sparks it, but I think you summed it up. Things do evolve. I think we've been to less. Not that we went to a lot of parties anyway. I think we've only been to 2 or 3 together.
We've been to several parties.
Club Verboten.
Yeah, but we've been like multiple times to
Yeah.
these things.
Oh, and those other two.
Boudoir, and we have been to events.
I think, but when we started, we went to more. Is what I'm trying to
Yes,
say.
yeah.
Now we haven't been to anything in the last couple of years, really,
Yeah.
because you're
In the last
less-
year, we haven't. My
Yeah.
anxiety coming out of the pandemic has only gotten worse. My social anxiety, and it makes me physically ill.
Yeah.
to stray from my routine of work and home. So that has been a challenge, and I wish it weren't that way. It's not that I don't want to go to these things, but it causes me so much physical distress to go and recovery, and it triggers panic attacks and things, and it pisses me off. It really upsets me and it annoys me, and then I feel really bad that you're then limited in the things that you can do socially because you're handicapped by my own mental illness issues. Yeah. And it's something that I feel guilty for, and then I'm sorry for. But I also don't know, like, I've tried to fix it and I try to deal with it, and sometimes it's okay, but generally speaking, it's just not something that I can do.
Yeah.
I don't have the physical capacity to go to an evening and to go to a play party, even though in my fantasies I would.
And I'm also not that interested in going to the rave type of kink parties.
Yeah, that's true.
But I am interested in going to more of the swinger type parties.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But anyway, did we answer? No, we didn't really.
Can the same things and the same dynamics still be fun? Yeah, it's like anything. Your tastes evolve over time. We get more extreme. I think we're talking about different things more. We've done some things that we wanted to do. We've still not done a lot of things that we want to do.
We have a whole toy chest that just sits there. But sometimes, like you said in the last podcast episode, you're interested in the novelty. And so once the novelty wears off of that toy, it's okay, it served its purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't mind occasionally, maybe sometimes, if we pull out some restraints or something in the next little bit. That would be nice. Okay. But I know it's work for you.
We can do that.
But I'll reward you appropriately.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
I've been fantasizing about being tied up and left at your mercy for you to have your way with me, and I can't do anything about it.
Okay. Do more of it.
Okay.
I think we've answered that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It's up to you, basically. If you're feeling like you want to change things, how does a dom reestablish trust in a DS relationship? We can't answer this.
Reestablish?
We don't know what you've done. If you've broken someone's limits, then there might be no coming back. If it's just you've done something minor or cheated, I don't know. I can't really answer this. Very difficult to answer. I guess the question would be same way as you would reestablish trust in any relationship. As someone who does not enjoy impact play, what other ways would either of you suggest a brat/sub to indulge in a DS scene? From Miss B. All of the other things.
Yeah.
All of the other things.
There are so many sensations to play with besides impact. There's psychological play. There's dressing up. There's behavior. There's positions. The world is your oyster. Head to your nearest sex shop and grab whatever looks fun.
The question is, what do you enjoy? Do the sex menu, figure out what you enjoy, and then incorporate that.
Roll a dice.
Yeah. Restraints. There's so much you can do. When meeting new people on apps or even in person, sometimes I see them describing themselves as daddy dom or a master. Sometimes people don't say anything. Are there doms that don't have a specific title for themselves? How to open up this conversation? I ask because, as a sub, calling someone daddy is a complete turn-off. Yeah, if they want you to call them daddy and that's not for you, then they're not the right person for you.
I think that most doms wouldn't mind. Yes, they might want to be called daddy. I'm sure many of them can be amenable to other terms. I'm just saying many.
Yeah.
Also, though, pulling back a bit from that question, some doms are going to classify them as a specific type because they're in the culture and age range where they've seen all this stuff on social media or they've read about it on the internet, etc. And that's why they're calling themselves whatever it is that they are. And if you come across someone who doesn't have a label for themselves, that doesn't mean that they are not a dom. That just means that they just don't spend too much time on the internet looking at this sort of stuff. They could still be very much a dom, and maybe you would label them as a soft dom or a master or whatever. Just because they don't have a label for themselves doesn't mean that they're not willing and open to play. So I don't think you need to consider that as like a sign to only go for doms that do have a specific label that you're looking for.
Agreed. And also, I'm not sure what apps, presumably you mean kinky apps, because otherwise you wouldn't put that in your thing. But lots of people will not put the titles in. And you just have to talk to them and understand what they're into.
There's lots of subtext and implication that goes on dating apps. If you are interested in this, you have to hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge your way through.
Yeah. All right. How can I be more submissive? I'm a 24/7 submissive in a DGLG marriage to my daddy without having to ask him what I can do when things have already been negotiated.
Try the Art of Submission course. That's the only thing I can suggest, because you already say that you're in a 24/7 relationship. You already say that you're in a DDLG relationship.
Marriage.
Like, how much more can you get? If you're struggling for ideas, then I think the Art of Submission course is actually brilliant, because it has a lot of journaling prompts. It has a lot of self-exploration and ideas for you to be creative in what you can do. And that's a more active role in the relationship and not just passively receiving the dominance. Not saying that you're passive in everything that you do, but if you want to be more involved in your own submission, then there's plenty that you can do.
Break out of the dynamic, sit down with your husband or I'm not sure.
Your partner.
Your partner. I'm not sure what the relationship is, but break out of the dynamic and say, hey, I want to do more stuff. What would you want me to do? What else can I do for you? I'm feeling like I want to be more submissive for you. Tell me, what would you love? And then agree it and then go back into the relationship, into the dynamic. Yeah. Hello, Chief and Moineau. I'm a beginner dom from Brazil with a style very similar to yours, and I'm currently reading your Sensational Scenes book. Great. I've listened to all of your podcasts and I'm interested in purchasing your Shibari course. It would be great to join your Discord server to connect with other DOMs, exchange experiences, and learn from more seasoned practitioners. How can I join? Please keep up the great work. All right. So yes, I do have a Discord community, and I started it a couple of years ago. What I realized is running a community is hard work, and it was taking up more time than I was willing to invest in it. That is the honest truth. And so I'm winding it down, and I'm not accepting any more applications. The only people who can join it are people who buy the Art of Submission course, because there's a kind of element to the course where you go on there and post. But yeah, with any community and you get a lot of people, there's always going to be troublemakers on there. And I was spending too much time moderating it and trying to keep it a safe space for everyone. And it got into a few things of how I wanted the server to be and how some other people wanted it to be. And there was a lot of bitching and backstabbing. And I just thought, I can't be bothered to this. It's free. I'm not getting paid to do this. Why am I wasting my time? Which is a real shame, because there were a lot of people on there who really enjoyed it, and I still get messages from people who want to join, but sadly it's just an extra. We've got to do the podcast, I've got to write the articles. It was just I stretched myself a bit too thin.
Yeah. I had some really lovely conversations on there. I met some really wonderful people. I wish them well. I hope that they're doing well. It was so involved, and we had to be so involved all the time. And I realized, I'm like, I've got a job. Like I cannot be on here every day, all day, constantly. And that was the expectation for both of us. And it was just ridiculous. I'm like, how are these people online all the time?
Yeah, but most are lovely.
They were really lovely. It was just like, it was too much time.
And I did float the idea of, okay, maybe if I get people to pay a small amount, like 20 quid a year or something, to be a part of it, that might help, because then there's more reason for me to put content on there and be active in it. But that people were very against that, and they were like, why would we pay? Yeah, it was a free resource, and I was giving my time to run it, and now I'm not. And people don't want to pay for my time to do it. They can't complain when I wasn't on there posting all the time. So I'd get messages saying, you haven't been on here. And I'm like, yeah, because I can't be constantly creating content for you guys. I'm not like a big organization. Yeah, it's sad, but there we go. It's what it is. It's what it is. But there are lots of other communities out there, so don't feel, you can still go and find them. Yeah, I'm sure there are other kinky Discord servers as well.
There's munches and local organizations. There are so many communities online. You can find a great one.
So sorry about that, but that's the way things go. How does one apply to be a sex slave on public display at an event? Good question, because you would like this.
You don't. No, let's get involved into your local scene first.
Yeah.
Meet some people. Learn to trust the people. Do not apply to be a sex slave at any party unless you have known these people for a very long time, unless you take proper safety measures, security measures. It's an excellent fantasy. It sounds wonderful and exciting and thrilling, but at the end of the day, you don't. You realize that we live in a world where you need to keep yourself safe first and foremost. And there are many ways to get involved in your scene. And if something organically occurs after a long length of time where you happen to find yourself in a scenario where you can be a plaything at a party, brilliant. But do your checks, do your vetting, and I won't give any more advice than that.
Yeah. Send us your video audition tape and we will review it and we will decide if you are worthy of being on. We will put you in contact with the right people.
Yeah.
We don't know anyone. We don't know. But we met someone else who had this fantasy. You've partly got this fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
I've met a lot of subs who have this fantasy, and it's why we were trying to do kinky dinner parties, but it was just we haven't found enough people that we actually like and want to do. But we still need to go to the clothed male, naked female.
Even though it swings or tends to, it is for the older crowd.
What puts me off is having to wear a suit. Because I'm not sure my suit fits at the moment.
Man, but you look so, even if it's but you look so attractive in a shirt. I know, practicalities.
Yes, shirt and trousers, but practicalities. I'm in a suit. Are you saying I've got to take off my tie, I've got to take off my jacket, I don't want it to go on the floor because there's probably cum or something, or beer or whatever on the floor. I've got to hang everything up.
It's a classy joint.
It's not going to be a classy joint, is it?
It's marketed as classy. I assume they'll have a coat rack.
Okay.
Just saying that they have a coat rack.
Some cock in the corner. Coat on this.
That's fun. Can you imagine being a coat rack?
Well, that's a sex slave.
That sounds fun. If I had a penis.
No, you could do it with your hands.
Yeah, not as fun.
Yeah, perky nipples. But yes, we want to go to this. We do want to go to this. So yeah, all the women are... And there's also the opposite. I've seen the opposite on FetLife quite a bit. So there are events where it's clothed
clothed female, naked male. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be quite hot.
Definitely would prefer the other.
Yeah.
I love the idea of, you're at some members club and you have all these men wearing suits and they're all talking their men's chat. And then you're just there being admired, but not. You're just there as part of the ambience, as part of the atmosphere. And then I'd be there. Everyone knows that I'm your submissive in that situation. And there are other subs there maybe. And you guys are just but it's also just a social thing. It doesn't have to devolve into anything more than that. But it's a beautiful fantasy.
Hang on, so basically it's a fantasy because I've got to do all the small talk and you just get to do nothing.
No, you can direct me to do things or whatever.
All the hard work of doing the small talk's on me.
We do go out. You do tend to be the one who carries the conversation in a much better than I do. So.
We've talked about this before. I would love to be a millionaire because we need a mansion.
Yeah.
We don't know anyone who has a mansion or a country house. And I've thought about trying to book a hotel suite for this kind of event, but one, we don't know enough people, and two, it's expensive. And then, as we've talked about before, a lot of kinksters don't have that much money, weirdly. Swingers seem to have more money.
But is that just because they're older? Not that there aren't old kinksters, but...
I just don't think kinksters... I don't know.
I think it's a generational thing, partly.
It could be.
Because swingers are coming from the place where that's the history of swinging, 60s, 70s or whatever. They're expecting to pay the money as part, that's their event, that's their evening out. They're like, yes, this is the entertainment of the evening. And so they have a in their head, they're like, that makes sense that we pay a certain amount for the entertainment of the weekend. Meanwhile, kinksters are maybe like, yeah, but where's the entertainment? Is everything surrounding that and actually not the event itself?
Yeah, I think
the drinks and the music and whatever. They're wanting a more involved weekend.
Yeah.
Like when we went to the swingers.
The boudoir.
No, when we went to that.
Oh,
the beach thing.
Yeah, the swingers hotel in.
Yeah, and I actually
area.
think like it was an appropriate. It makes sense to pay to be able to.
That wasn't that
be
expensive either.
Yeah, but that's because we were abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a bit. If it was younger people.
Yeah, the swing's older.
Yeah, swing's older.
But then imagine we'd be as it does, like.
Yeah, but there was no one to play with.
I know, but I just like the idea, like we'd be the center of attention.
We were. People were
we'd have more eyes on us, and that's fun.
Did.
And if they were all okay with having it be slightly kinky, man, that's the perfect scenario, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'd be the center of the social circle.
They weren't.
Not at this particular day that we went.
Yeah, we were too kinky. We didn't get thrown out, but we got told off.
Told off for being
spanking.
too loud. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't have a flipping St. Andrew's cross there if you don't want people to get spanked.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, next question. So public sex slave. Yes, great. We'd like to do it, but with the practicalities, I don't know how you get.
You just
have to get known within the scene, and
you have to be safe. Sometimes some things are better left as a fantasy.
Yeah. All right, fendom and findom are things I want to explore more. Is it safe to approach the tips and guides you send the same way as a woman? So I'm assuming this is a woman on my mailing list, and a lot of my content is written from the perspective of the guy. But all of the tips and all of the things are applicable, regardless of your gender. So yes. That said, I haven't got any articles on findom. Femdom, yes, all of the tips apply. Findom, I haven't written anything just because I've not experienced it and I don't have any.
We do have at least one podcast episode on findom where we interviewed someone.
A femdom, a female dominatrix.
We interviewed the gentleman who did pay for.
That's not findom.
Oh, that was findom. Yeah.
Yeah, femdom. We haven't done any content on findom.
There are other resources out there, but ours is not that.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah. Sorry. It's not our thing.
No,
it's not like...
I talk about it. I just don't have any experience, so I don't think I'd be able to say. But I know men are stupid, and they will pay lots of money to you if you get it right. And I'm jealous.
I wish you the best of luck in your findom journey.
You were going to
really
sell
do.
your panties. What happened to that idea?
Yeah, I know. It actually ended up being way more involved. The thing is,
I was looking forward to that.
I know. I just like
you were going to be my money.
I know, but
money
like,
whore.
The thing is, like when you have a job, it's like a full other job on top of that.
Wearing panties to work. That's a big chore.
No, it was all the tech stuff.
I'll do this. I'll do your posting for you.
No.
I'll be a little sub sending out your panties.
Yeah, it was a good idea, but
it's a lot of work.
But the thing is, it's funny because the industry of selling panties, it was right in the middle of changing when I like. It's actually funny because of social media and things like. It's not the same. It's not the same anymore.
It's like you're talking about the Industrial Revolution and how things have evolved over 200 years. It's like in 2 years, the panty industry has gone down the drain.
Yeah. No, I don't like because I got. Yeah. Anyway, I won't get into it.
Okay. All right. What is the best way to meet people in the community? Trying to find like-minded friends. We've written about this. We don't know because we haven't worked it out.
You don't have friends.
We're both bad at making
munches at local events and sex talks and things.
Go to events, meet people. It's hard. It's just That's all we've got. That's all we've got. It's difficult.
The wrong people to ask.
I have got articles on this on the website.
You
so
do.
I'm being a bit flippant, but we're not antisocial. It just I find it very difficult to make friends. But we've met other people, and every time I talk to them, they've met someone else in the community. I think it's just your personality.
Yeah,
we've just got shit personalities, so no one wants to talk to us.
Most of the other people drink, and at least in UK culture, it's part of the going out thing. And if you don't drink instantly, that's going to limit you.
But I'm much more sociable when I drink.
Yeah, but you don't.
I don't. But that's why I used to drink.
Yeah, and you and the rest of the UK population.
Yeah, but I prefer myself when I'm drunk.
Yeah, and
Maybe I'll do the podcast drunk as an experiment.
We should one day. I've never seen you drunk.
Yeah, I've got levels where I get too much. Like I get too over the top.
I'd be willing to see that. I'd be happy to see that. We should do it. If you're keen, someday we can do it.
No, I can't handle the hangover.
Mm.
Can't handle it. Maybe
there you go. We're too old. All right. See us for that podcast.
Yeah. How do you transition as a couple from normal life to sexy BDSM time? Firstly, I'm assuming the DS roles are not 24/7. Do you have any special phrase that you use to enter the scene? Or is it when you put on certain clothing or jewelry? Or do you agree on an appointment time and location? What is your sign you give each other that you are moving from did you put on the dishwasher now, daily life, to come here and bend over my knee? I.e., how do you mentally, emotionally, and practically get into the DS headspace, slow down, and connect to your respective roles? Follow-up question, if I'm allowed. How do you transition out of the scene post-aftercare?
Yes, and yes.
Great. You've given all of the ideas there. That's exactly what we'd say.
Also, don't discount the thrill and excitement of the, did you remember to turn on the dishwasher? Now come over here and get on your hands and knees. Oh my God. That, like, if you were to say, like, those two things to me, like, the abruptness, the abruptness of the change from menial household chore, 80s switch over to hot dominant energy. I'd actually, that sounds really exciting. So I think that's also an option for you. Yeah, just saying. Yeah. Don't you think? Like, how exciting. Blah, 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 household, blah, 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 chores, blah, blah, blah.
If they're giving, but
now,
only if they're giving
come
the
here and I'm going to fuck your face. Oh my God, yes.
Wait, yeah. Yeah.
But that's because that oh my goodness, that sounds so hot.
Nice.
Just the surprise and the thrill of it all.
Did you remember to put the dishwasher on? Is that why I see all this porn with the person stuck in the washing machine?
Yes.
That's what she's being commanded to get in.
What was the part 2 of the question? Transitioning out. We didn't answer part 1 of the question.
We didn't. She's answered. He or she has answered their own question.
Yeah.
I assume it's a she, but I'm being sexist there. Just because it's not
because
sexist.
It's well written.
It's because well written. No, it's not being sexist. It's because my audience is mainly men who are doms and female who are subs, women who are subs. It's statistics, is not sexism.
Statistics.
But
put that on a t-shirt. It's statistics, not sexism.
Not sexism. Yeah, but no, it could be from the man talking about the thing. Anyway, yeah, all of that stuff. We find it difficult. It's just the thing. What I love about these questions is it's validating that everyone feels these same issues.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's normal. And transitioning out after I come, I'm just out of it. I'm thinking about what's going to go on at work.
Well, that's it. That's the
away.
solution is have an orgasm and bombs your uncle.
Yeah. Right. Next one up.
But basically, you would seriously, you would reverse whatever it was that you did to get into it. So
unload the dishwasher.
Right. Yeah.
If you last
that would work though.
Like, how long does the dishwasher take? You got to last 3 hours 45 minutes.
And then it would
unload the dishwasher.
Yeah. Now be like
my little cum slut.
Yeah. Good job. Now go and finish your chores. Yeah.
Perfect. Love it.
It works.
That's your fantasy, isn't it?
I like washing the dishes by hand.
Yeah.
It's relaxing. Anyway.
All right. My question is about taking your dynamic outside the bedroom, but not all the way to 24/7. When real life gets in the way, what tips do you have to get your dynamic back on track?
This.
For Moineau,
okay.
Is this bit of the question, is there anything you do to help yourself? Yeah, we definitely answered the first couple of bits. Is there anything you do to help yourself feel submissive when alone? Or do you rely totally on Chief to give you those feelings? This is from Caroline, middle of the US. Where's middle of the US?
Middle of the US. It's a specific place in Kansas, I think, or is it Nebraska? Anyway. How do I feel submissive outside of it?
How do you help yourself to feel submissive when alone?
I don't. If I'm reading some fantasy or some erotica, I guess, for personal pleasure, then I'm going to be enjoying those characters' emotions as I'm reading it, as you do when you're enjoying a nice read. Submission to me doesn't please myself just for myself. I'm looking for a dynamic. The whole thing that's thrilling and exciting about it is the fact that it's a response to my partner, and that heightens my sexual behavior and arousal with the person that I'm playing with. There's no need for me to do it if it's just for myself. That said, if I think of the non-sexual aspect that sometimes I get into, like with a submissive mindset or whatever, if I'm wanting a bit of like self-care in the little-ish type headspace, then there are plenty of things to do to, like, maybe that's when you whack out the colored pencils or the adult coloring book, or do a craft or a hobby, or watch an animated comfort film, or have my stuffies and dress in my cute pajamas that I like, that make me feel cozy, and particularly that honor my inner child. Apart from that,
you also do read a lot of fan fiction if
Yeah.
you want to feel.
but just because I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Though it's not because I'm.
But you get the feelings.
It's not because I'm wanted to be submissive in that moment. It's just because I like to read fan fiction.
Okay.
I do read other things as well. But yeah, does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'm not a submissive in my head 24/7. Do you want to feel dominant all the time? You? No.
No. I've realised as well that I get into my dominant role when I see you becoming more submissive. So going back to that dishwasher example, I'd find it difficult to be like, have you done the dishwasher? Come here and suck me. Because I wouldn't be aroused, because I get aroused when I know you're turned on and want me.
Oh no, that's a conundrum.
It's like a what do they call it?
Catch
22. Yeah. I'm not turned on because you're not turned on by me, but you're not turned on until I show my dominance.
That's not necessarily. So the answer to that, though, is to unload the dishwasher in my underwear.
Maybe.
We've done that before, where I've done chores and things wearing nothing or next to nothing, and that does
When it warms up.
excite. Yeah, when it warms up.
Yeah.
Weather dependent.
Here's an interesting one, similar to one we've answered before. I have lots of questions, but we'll just submit one for now.
I need to moderate yourself.
I am bisexual.
Okay.
I like this one. I picked this one. I like this one. I like these ones. Keep them coming. That's what she said. And my husband is straight. I have expressed to him that I miss being intimate with. I wonder if this is the other one.
Do you think it's the response?
Yeah, maybe it's the sub.
Okay,
they both submitted their questions. Yeah. I have expressed to him that I miss being intimate with a female, and that it is something that I would like to do. He is on board, but would like to be there to watch, if nothing more. How does one go about organising something like this? Where would you recommend we start? I do not have anyone in my life already that would be willing to partake, and I do not want to come across as a sleazy sex pest on a dating app. Also, is there anything you would recommend us keeping in mind before we try something like this, so that egos, I assume that meant, do not get damaged? P.S. I'm a bratty sub in our dynamic, and my husband is my caregiver. Any advice would be much regarded.
That one's tricky because you have the whole idea of being a unicorn hunter or whatever. You being a bisexual woman who wants to explore more with women, and you already have a partner, that in itself is fine. Your husband having the desire to see that, in essence, is also fine. Finding someone who is willing to become a part of that dynamic, to become a third, is tricky, because that does occur. I know that it's occurring at a higher frequency now on dating apps and things like that, where you have couples who are actively seeking out a unicorn, someone for this bisexual wife to have relations with while the husband watches. And while you can find that partner, you need to be aware that there are so many more elements to the relationship than what you're essentially looking for is like a polyamorous sort of.
Just interested in casual.
Yeah, exactly, and that's when it's harder, because they're saying that they want to be a unicorn hunter.
Yeah.
Like, it is a thing that happens in the kink scene environment. It is a thing that bisexual women have to deal with constantly, from what I've heard. So you can find those people, but you're more likely going to find someone willing to participate in that if you're going from a polyamorous, ethical, non-monogamous crowd. People who are already interested in the idea of having multiple partners.
I'm going to take a different take.
Okay.
And I'm going to say swingers clubs are the place to go.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's the more...
Because
I was thinking if
direct
this is like...
one night thing.
Oh, yeah. Then, yeah, swingers club is the way to go.
Yeah.
There's your answer.
Because I've been to swingers club maybe 6 times now, and if you are a woman who wants to play with other women, basically most of the women there are there to meet other women, not to meet guys, even though they're with the partners. So often it's the men just sort of standing around and the women playing with each other. So 100% I would go to that. You won't come across as sleazy because that's there's people to do, and as long as you get a bit social and you chat to people, then it's relatively,
you're perfect.
It's relatively
you're right.
straightforward. We've had trouble because you struggle to talk to other people and you're not that into women. So when we go together, if I'm talking to another woman, it comes across as worse than if you had gone and you were initiating conversation.
We have trouble because I just want to know the people first. I need to get to know them. And over the course of one evening, that's not going to happen. Especially a lot of them, you say it's all my fault. It's not like they're not. No, I know. But it's not like the other people are that social back.
No, agreed.
That, like, all around the communication going on, the small talk and chat could be much improved at all the events that I've been to.
Yeah.
People very much suck in terms of getting to know each other because everyone's going with like the goal of, okay, like at some point in the next 2 hours, then we're going to come together as some mass of limbs, and that's the end goal. And so because everyone's thinking that at the back of their mind, it means that they're actually not trying to get to know the people as people. I'd like to be interested in
I think that's the thing, though. That's not how it works. It's like,
I know.
Do you find them physically attractive? Yes, then it doesn't really matter.
And if you're
you
demisexual, and you need to have an attraction to the person first before you're physically attracted to them, then
yeah, exactly. I'm assuming you just like attractive people, and if you don't like the personality, you still want to sleep with them.
Yeah, and that's not the case.
Yeah. The other thing is apps fields is the classic. I think as a woman, you could probably meet someone fairly easily on that.
Yeah. You're right, though. I instantly I thought it was, you were thinking longer term. But if it's, swingers club is definitely the correct answer on that then.
Yeah.
But there's a really good book, though, called Polysecure, which I do recommend if you are interested in polyamory. And it's all about how our different attachment styles affect and influence how we approach relationships, and how that in turn can affect how we would then approach a polyamorous dynamic. So it's good.
I think it's easier to meet someone for one night than it is to get into polyamorous.
I agree. Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So swingers club is your best bet. Enjoy. Good luck.
I think we'll finish the questions there because we've gone through a lot of them, and there's still loads more, so we'll do another episode next week and we'll go through the rest of the questions, or as many as we can get through.
In case you all wanted an update, I can announce that I have been practicing, and I am now somewhat adequate at being on top cowgirl position. Please insert the round of applause, a little noise that we have. Yay! Cheers all around. It hasn't been without its trials, and it does take effort, but I'm getting there.
You're good?
I still think I feel weird being on top. I feel weird because it feels like I'm in too much control. And then even though I'm like chasing my own orgasm, I want to make sure that it feels good to you. And I often worry that it's not, because I can't really tell in the position if your penis is getting properly...
If it's in yet.
If it's getting the right motion that it needs for you to feel
but you got to
good.
stop worrying about me.
Yeah, but as the submissive, that's difficult.
I know, but you got to think...
And so I close my eyes.
Use me as a fleshlight.
But I don't want to use you as a fleshlight. I want to be used
As a
like I
sausage.
as the cock sleeve.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But you, yes.
But I'm practicing.
Yes.
I'm practicing. And before, when I wasn't at all able to if for those long-time listeners who have heard our entire sexual journey from start to finish, you may have known that I struggled. Like I wasn't
Couldn't do
even
on top.
able to get on top. And now I can. And I can orgasm from it.
You little dominant.
So look at me go. Yeah, watch me
You can
crack
ride.
out the
You can ride
whip,
a cock now.
the horse whip.
But I
soon.
like it because if I know that my cock is able to make you orgasm, that's a turn on for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you should use it.
I enjoy it. I enjoy
Yeah.
using it.
But you don't.
There you
It's
go.
not
That's
for me.
that's the update.
It's to get you to come.
That's the update. I thought you should all know.
Yeah, good update.
Yeah.
I don't have any updates. I've got my new toy from China.
It looks like an octopus.
It's like imagine one of those head scratchers with the wire. It's like one of those, but shrunk down with only 4 prongs, and they're like covered in what's that?
Silicon.
Silicon, yeah. And it's all right. I got up to an 8 out of 10 when I used it on myself, but I was watching porn at the same time, and it's not quite deep enough. It only goes just over the head.
Oh, and it vibrates. You forgot that.
It vibrates. If I push it far enough down, then my cock hits the base of it as well, and that feels nice because then it's vibrating right on the head. But it wasn't enough to get me over the edge.
The legs could be longer. I was playing with it this morning.
Yeah, the depth.
And for whatever reason, they decided to economize the legs of this.
I'm still on the hunt for the ultimate male sex toy. The fleshlight is the best thing, certainly
It's just so
orgasm
big
wise.
and
But it's big and
cumbersome.
cumbersome. I want something small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to get the grippy thing
glove.
that goes on your hand.
Yeah. Your hand. Or my hand.
Yeah,
Your
which
hand.
a hand.
Yeah. So if you have suggestions, what are your best male sex toys? Send us an email. chief@kinkevents.co.uk.
That's the perfect ending to this podcast.
Yeah. Send us your.
What do you
your things.
use as a penis owner to get yourself off as a toy?
I'm more
as a toy?
interested in what the women use on the men.
I think a lot of them can be used by someone who just has to be operating the thing.
Okay, let's do for men, what is your best male sex toy? And then for women, what is your favorite sex toy?
To use on men?
No,
just okay.
in general.
okay.
What do you like have used on you or using yourself?
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a rabbit for almost everyone, right?
It could be a rabbit, yeah. Or
But-
maybe they will broaden the question.
Yeah.
You can answer whatever one you want. What do you like? What is your favorite toy for your partner to use on you?
Yes.
Because it could be a flogger, it could be a whip, it could
Yep.
be whatever that.
Perfect.
Yeah. To get you off or just to have fun. There we go. All right. Send us your thoughts at chief@kinkyevents.co.uk. One of these days we'll get a sex toy company to sponsor us, and then they will send us free toys. I really want to get one of those sex
Sibian.
Symbian or Motor Bunny. I did write to them. They didn't send me one.
I think they offered you a discount, but it was like
Yeah,
those
it
things
was
are
a
so
shit
expensive.
I want to try one with you doing the podcast, sitting on it.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
Just like our wand showdown, but
Yeah.
more involved.
we want that.
Then we can practice by cowgirl technique.
Exactly. You can practice cowgirl. We can use it for punishments.
You can buy a cowboy hat.
Exactly. That's what we want. That's the goal.
Okay.
So,
End goal in mind.
yeah. All right. That's it for today.
Lots of love and spanks,
Lots
everyone.
of love and spanks. Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to Chief from kinkyevents.co.uk, helping you create the dom sub dynamic you've always fantasized about.